Santa Clara, California, February 7. Quarterback Peyton Manning. Photo by Patrick Smith, Getty Images. When the Denver Broncos signed Peyton Manning in 2012, the expectation was that he would lead the team to multiple Super Bowls. It took the Broncos just 2 seasons to reach the big game. Unfortunately, they got dismantled by the Seattle Seahawks, 43-8. That didn't stop them from their quest to get back. 2 years later, they met the Carolina Panthers in Super Bowl 50. The end result was much better, as the Broncos defeated Carolina 24-10. As you would expect, the Denver Broncos' current roster is much different than their Super Bowl 50 roster from 2015. More from predominantly orange, the Broncos haven't had much success since their Super Bowl victory against the Carolina Panthers in 2015. So, what's the deal? You could name multiple reasons for the downfall. You would likely be correct. The number of players currently on the team that helped win a Super Bowl is very low. Players whose team just won a Super Bowl often leave for a different team once free agency starts because they feel like they deserve to get paid a lot more than their current team offers. The Broncos have different players at multiple positions that were either in college or on a different NFL team when the team won their 3rd Super Bowl. Here is a look at the changes the Broncos have gone through since their latest championship victory, which happened to be paid on Manning's final game in the National Football League. Page 2. Gary Kubiak, the former backup to John Elway, came back to the Broncos after serving as the head coach of the Houston Texans for 8 seasons, 2006 to 2013, and 1 season as the offensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens. Kubiak was hired to be the 15th head coach in Denver Broncos history, and the 4th since the team fired Mike Shanahan after the 2008 season. The team failed when they hired Josh McDaniels away from the Patriots. McDaniels lasted just 1 full season and part of the next year. Midway through the 2010 season, McDaniels was fired. Eric Studesville came on an interim basis until the team hired John Fox, whose history of playoff disappointments led to Fox and the Broncos parting ways. When Kubiak arrived to Denver, he had the luxury of Peyton Manning as his quarterback. Not bad at all. Kubiak led the Broncos to a 12-4 record in 2015 and a 9-7 record in 2016. That comes after just 2 double-digit wins in 8 seasons with the Texans. After the 2016 season, when the Broncos finished with a 9-7 record, Kubiak retired from coaching due to chronic migraines. After Kubiak retired, the team had to search for their next head coach. They chose to hire Vance Joseph, the Miami Dolphins defensive coordinator. Joseph's first season as head coach of the Broncos was one to forget, as the Broncos finished 2017 with a 5-11 record. Denver went through an 8-week stretch in 2017 where they didn't win a single game, Week 6 through Week 13. During that stretch, the Broncos were outscored 241-108. The stretch included getting shut out by the Chargers, 21-0, and a humiliating loss to the previously winless New York Giants by a score of 23-10. Despite the poor record in his rookie season as a head coach, John Elway decided to give Joseph at least 1 more year to turn things around. Now let's focus on the players. The 2018 roster has some familiar faces as well as some new ones. Page 30. 2015 roster: Peyton Manning, Brock Osweiler, Trevor Seaman. 2018 offseason roster: Case Keenum, Paxton Lynch, Chad Kelly, Nick Stevens. The 2015 version of soon-to-be Hall of Fame quarterback Peyton Manning did not add up to what he was in 2013. During the 2013 season, Manning set records for passing yards, 5,477, and passing touchdowns, 55. In 2015, Manning was plagued by a foot injury that limited him to 10 games. In 10 games, he threw 9 touchdowns to 17 interceptions. Manning's touchdown total was the worst of his career. His interception total tied for 4th most. When Manning went down with a foot injury, Osweiler was the next man up. Osweiler played 8 games that season, with a 10-6 touchdown-interception ratio and posting a 61.8 quarterback rating. When the playoffs arrived, Manning was back and helped lead the team to the promised land, the biggest stage in professional sports, the Super Bowl. In the big game, Manning completed 13 of 23 passes for 141 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 1 interception. While he didn't throw a touchdown pass, he did enough to help running back C.J. Anderson score offensively. Now, the Broncos have Case Keenum quarterbacking the team. Keenum led the Minnesota Vikings to the NFC Championship game last season while playing the best football of his career. Last season, Keenum completed 67.6% of his passes, while having guys such as Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs to throw to, as well as Latavius Murray in the backfield. Keenum should have more success this year in Denver. Not only does he have Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders on the outside, the Broncos drafted 2 receivers in the 2018 draft, Courtland Sutton and Deshaun Hamilton. Page 40 2015 roster: C.J. Anderson, Jawan Thompson, Ronnie Hillman. 2018 offseason roster: Devontae Booker, Royce Freeman, D'Angelo Henderson, Philip Lindsay, David Williams. In 2015, running back C.J. Anderson had his 3rd best season. He rushed for 720 yards on 152 attempts in 15 games played. He eclipsed 100 yards rushing just twice that year, but came up just 5 yards short in Week 17. Jawan Thompson rushed 18 times for 48 total yards throughout the entire 2016 season, which is extremely underwhelming. However, to make up for Thompson's poor season was Ronnie Hillman, who ran 207 times for 863 yards. Denver's current running back crop is completely different than the 2015 version. Since 2015, Denver has lost Thompson, who hasn't been on a team since, and Hillman, who spent last season out of the NFL after playing 2016 with the Minnesota Vikings and San Diego Chargers. Now, Denver has 5 running backs on the roster: Devontae Booker, D'Angelo Henderson, and 3 rookies: Royce Freeman, Philip Lindsay, and David Williams. I am personally very excited about the running backs on this year's team. I can easily see the Broncos with a 3-headed monster at the position: Booker, Henderson, and Freeman. The team has a tremendous chance to have one of the top backfields in the entire league. If the Broncos decide to keep just 3 backs, the names I listed above should be the 3. The last 2, Lindsay and Williams, would be destined for the team's practice squad. Page 50 2015 roster: Ty Sambrailo, Michael Schofield, Evan Mathis, Max Garcia, Matt Parody, James Ferentz, Luis Vazquez, Shelley Smith, Brian Harris. 2018 offseason roster: Matt Parody, J.J. Dielman, Max Garcia, Sam Jones, Ron Leary, Connor McGovern, Austin Schlottman, Billy Turner, Garrett Bowles, Leon Johnson, Andreas Knapp, Cyrus Kawadijo, Jared Veldier, Menelik Watson, Elijah Wilkinson. When comparing the offensive line from 2015 to the one in 2017, the numbers are staggering. Specifically, the number of sacks given up. The Broncos' offensive line has been pretty poor for a number of years now. In 2015, the line gave up 21 total sacks in 16 regular season games. Most of those sacks, 10 to be exact, were against tackle Michael Schofield. Last season, the Denver Broncos offensive line gave up 32 sacks, which is equal to 2 per game. Garrett Bowles, a rookie last season, and Vince Watson gave up 8 sacks apiece. It remains to be seen what the 2018 offensive line roster will look like, but there are certain players who will be back. Center Matt Parody, regarded as the team's best offensive lineman, will be back. So will second-year tackle Garrett Bowles and tackle Vince Watson. Parody and Bowles are going to be starters. Newly acquired tackle Jared Veldheer will compete for the starting right tackle spot. That leaves the 2 guard positions. It will be an interesting battle in training camp to see who the team places into those 2 remaining roles. Alan Barber, acquired last season from the Philadelphia Eagles, could be somebody the Denver Broncos decide to bring back for another season, though no discussions have been made about the transaction. Page 60 2015 roster: Demaryius Thomas, Andre Caldwell, Benny Fowler, Emmanuel Sanders, Cody Latimer, Jordan Norwood. 2018 off-season roster: Demaryius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, Courtland Sutton, Kenny Bell, River Crocraft, John Diarse, Deshaun Hamilton, Carlos Henderson, Isaiah McKenzie, Jordan Lasley, Tim Patrick, Jordan Taylor, Jimmy Williams. The 2018 Denver Broncos wide receiver position is a very interesting and fun one to keep an eye on in training camp and beyond. During 2018, Thomas and Sanders are the true vets among the group. Jordan Taylor and Isaiah McKenzie are 2 other names to watch. Taylor has been productive at the receiver position as well as special teams. Isaiah McKenzie had a rough rookie season in 2017 at returning punts. Taylor was one of the better options at that role. However, it is going to be an uphill battle for Taylor, who is recovering from double hip surgeries this offseason. There's even a chance that his roster spot is in jeopardy. That gives McKenzie, as well as newcomers Deshaun Hamilton and Courtland Sutton, a better shot at making the team and making a tremendous impact on the success of the 2018 Broncos. My prediction for the wide receiver depth in 2018: Demaryius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, Courtland Sutton, Deshaun Hamilton, Carlos Henderson, and Isaiah McKenzie. Page 7 Use your arrows to browse 2015 roster: Owen Daniels, Virgil Green, Vernon Davis. 2018 off-season roster: Jake Butt, Troy Fumagalli, Jeff Hoyerman, Matt Lacosi, Brian Parker, Austin Traylor. In 2015, the Broncos tight ends Virgil Green, Vernon Davis, Owen Daniels combined for 891 yards and just 4 receiving touchdowns. However, that was enough to help the Broncos to Super Bowl 50. Virgil Green is now an LA Charger, while Davis is a Washington Redskin and Daniels is retired. Now, the Denver Broncos have plenty of bodies in training camp to choose from to fill the position. Jake Butt suffered a major injury during his last game in college, so he has hardly participated in the Broncos' success. Hoyerman also suffered an injury in college but has been able to produce, even if just for 18 catches and 283 yards in 2 seasons. Green was not really a pass-catching tight end. He was mainly in games to be a blocker. The Denver Broncos drafted Troy Fumagalli in the 2018 draft and hope he will contribute to the team in his rookie year. I also think Traylor makes the team as a 4th tight end. Use your arrows to browse.